I go into more advanced pointers on the real truth and the myths about how to turn and how to finish. The reason why there's so much to say about this is because if you look at all players, everyone looks different. I mean, just take Medvedev's forehand and take Alcaraz's forehand, it looks different, right? It looks very different, but the fundamentals are the same. And the reason why it's different is because everyone's body types are different. Everyone has a different grip, sometimes different styles, but the fundamentals are the same. So I've given you the fundamentals, but let me give you some pointers on when the swing will look different. Okay, so we spoke about the grips, right? The more flat you go, so let's say Eastern grip. Okay, you're going to have more of a flat swing. With the Eastern grip, you don't need to turn much more than that, because from there my strings are going to drop, and the strings will mostly face to the back fence, and then I'm going to follow through. Okay, so on the turn, yes, a difference. If I go to semi-western, for instance, I'm still going to turn with the same fundamentals of racket higher, but because the grip is over, I'm going to have to turn more. I want to recognize what happens if I drop my strings. It's going to be more of an internal drop. Okay, if you see my racket there on the semi-western, and there's the Eastern, it's not turning as much before I start swinging forward. So what am I trying to say? I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm saying if you have a Western grip, your turn will be a little bit bigger. If you have an Eastern grip, it will be a little bit smaller, but it's always higher than the rest, and the racket always will drop right before contact point, and you'll have a lag. So I don't want you to think that your forehand has to look like someone else's forehand. There's a lot of things that plays a role here: your grip, your game style, but make sure your fundamentals are right. Fundamentals here are turn with the racket higher than the wrist, drop until the racket strings are to the ground and the butt of the racket is facing the ball, and then you start accelerating forward. Okay, so to recap, racket head higher until you feel comfortable with the turn, and drop with the strings closed, butt of the racket to the ball, and then you swing forward. Now there are some limitations. Okay, when I turn, let's say I'm heading to you guys, to the camera. Whatever grip I'm using, let's say I'm using the full Western grip, which is a big turn, right? It's a massive turn, okay? But if I cross my body too much on this side, that's too much, okay? I'm gonna be late. So most of the swing should happen on the same side of the body. Even if it's a little bit bigger, that's enough. From there, I will drop and swing forward. So imagine there's a line at the back of you, right in the middle. You don't want to cross that line too much. You're going to limit yourself. Stretching too much, you're losing power. Same with the Eastern. Yes, it's smaller, but I don't want to cross that side. Okay, it's a bit smaller, stays on the same side of my body. I will tell a lot of my players, when you're pushing someone, this is where you're strong. Okay, you're not going to be strong here. So everything is next to you, away from you, which takes me to the next point. A lot of players talk about elbow up. How high should the elbow be when I turn? It depends. Okay, if you're unsure, it's always good to tell yourself, as long as my elbow is away from me, this is going to give me enough power. That for some players could mean higher, for some players it could be lower, but you just want to make sure when you turn, the elbow is not stuck, because you're going to lose power. I really hope that makes sense. You can always come back to this video. So there's fundamentals of the turn. Keep the elbow away. Remember, you are strong here and you're not strong here. Away from you, it could look like that, could look like this, could look like that, but it's never here. That's the turn. More advanced steps for you.